overall, and look, you have to keep in mind they didn't have a first or second round pick, so it is what it is. But look, to get Jiayir Brown in the third round is not bad. I think there are a couple players that were nice. To get Ronnie Bell in the seventh round is also pretty nice. I like the Luter kid from South Alabama. I like it when you solidify your place kicking. Maybe round 3 could have been high, but if you got your 10-year kicker, it is what it is. That's almost like a fourth round pick anyway.
I agree.
But there were some, overall, it's not like they hit it. It's not, you look at the draft and you say, all right, well, is Moody our top guy? Is he the guy that really we're going to come out of the draft and he's going to be around here for a long time? Because I don't know about picking up Latu in the third. I know it was almost a fourth, but so yeah, I don't think any 49er fans had any weird illusions that it was going to be their time of year anyway. So they got a few players.
Yeah, they got a few players. Couple interesting notes that I have just from listening to and reading. They actually had the transcript. It made it a lot easier. Read their transcript post-draft. Robert Beal Jr., the DN from Georgia, edge defender, not overly productive. But if you watch some of his tape, you can tell right away there's something there. Didn't really turn into a lot of quality play. But sometimes there are certain situations in a defense like Georgia where there's just talent everywhere, is that you just can't spread the production around. And it's almost sometimes, in some cases, it helps a certain player out to have all that talent around him. But I also think it can hide a talent. And Beal Jr. is an unbelievably talented kid. And this is what's ironic to me, that when I wrote him up, I said there's something here that we haven't seen yet. He gets drafted by San Fran. They have an analytic metric. Here we go, analytics, right? They have an analytic metric that's the acronym is GTFO. I'm not going to say what that stands for, but it's a line that they have, one of their defensive line coaches uses, and they kind of combine it with analytics. Long story short, they measure in a lot of these important traits that they use on the edge for defensive linemen and defensive ends, outside linebackers. And it's all about how explosive they are in 2 to 5 yard windows. Last year, the number one guy on their draft board in that metric was Drake Jackson, who they picked in the third round, I believe. Okay. This year, the top player on that metric was Robert Beal Jr.
Okay.
Better than every player in the draft along the front seven.
Okay.
So that's something to just keep in the back of your head, that San Fran, they do need a little bit more depth on the outside. They signed Bryant and Cleveland Farrell, formerly Clemson teammates. We both know that they're not going to be guys that make a huge impact there, but there's something there with this kid. Okay. I just want people to keep that name, Robert Beal. D. Winters, linebacker they took from TCU, undersized kid. He was a former safety. The one linebacker that he watched the most in college to try and put his game after was Fred Warner, his now current teammate with the Niners. So I like hearing little stories like that. One thing I was confused about, and it sounded like they just didn't find the value, they didn't add any offensive linemen.
True.
That was a confusing, and maybe that was schematics.
That is a big issue. Yes.
They like Colton McKivitz, the kid they drafted from West Virginia a couple years ago. They liked him so much that they almost traded Mike McGlinchey last year.
Okay.
And he's now playing for the Broncos. So, that's what they're saying right now. Yeah, they better be right. You're exactly right.
Oh, the Fisher kid from Shepherd they signed.
Yeah, he was their top free agent. I think that was the contract they gave out the highest money to. So, the tight ends they brought in, Latu from Alabama, Braden Willis from Oklahoma.
Yeah, see the Latu thing, they don't really use a number 2 tight end all that much, which is why I didn't really understand a third round pick at a position unless you thought or think that he's your tight end of the future.
Right. And, there are rumors already that Kittle might be done there soon because of economic reasons. I think he means so much to that organization. I can't see him going anywhere anytime soon. But Braden Willis makes more sense to me on that team because he could play fullback, H-back. Okay. He's a great special teamer. He's a good tackler. All this stuff, right? Yeah, the Latu decision there instead of offensive line was a little confusing to me.
And like I said, to get Bell in the 7th is a nice spot for him because he could also return kicks for you. And so they potentially took care of a couple of spots on special teams, but again, they did not have a couple of picks, the first round or two. So it is what it is. You have to judge that also by what they did with their trades and things of that nature. So, and we move on. So the San Francisco 49ers, Lynch has done a fantastic job there. So we're not going to question, we will question, but we won't say anything too negative because he's done a really good job.